Hey guys, it's Miss Weston, and I'm here with your week 1 lesson 2 video that goes along with pages 8 through 12 in your Civil War book. We're going to get started today by writing in our packet our journal response. You have 2 choices for today. The first choice is there someone or something you feel grateful for today? Who or what is it, and why do you feel that way? So, for example, today I feel very grateful for Miss Ngali, and I feel grateful for her because we've been working really hard together to make sure that we can get all the reading materials ready to go to start online learning for you guys. So I feel very grateful for her. So that's your first choice. And your second choice is, what is your favorite thing to do, and how do you feel when you work on this activity? So, for example, right now, my favorite thing to do is to play with my dogs, and I feel very happy and very joyful when I get to play with them because they're really silly. So, those are your 2 choices for your journal response today. Go ahead and pause the video, write your response, and when you're ready, you can come back to the video and we'll start our lesson for today. Okay, if you're back with me, that means that you've written your journal response for one of those 2 prompts that I provided, and you're ready to start the lesson. So our objective today is I can identify the effect of an event in the text. So before we get started with that, I really want to take a minute to review cause and effect. So cause is the reason why something happened, and effect is what happened. So for example, Coach Brown's shoes were untied, so he tripped while playing soccer. The cause was that his shoes were untied. That's why he fell down. The effect was that he tripped, right? What happened? Well, Coach Brown tripped. So we are going to be reading today and trying to think about some reasons why the Civil War happened and some of the effects of the Civil War. But before we do that, I want to give you an opportunity to practice your skills identifying cause and effect. So if you look on your packet below your journal prompt today, you will see that there is a guided practice activity called Cause and Effect Guided Practice, Match the Cause to the Effect. So the first one I gave to you. Number 1, the car ran a red light. So we look over here at the effect. So this is the why something happened, the cause, why the car ran a red light. So what happened? Well, the only answer that makes sense to me is that the driver got a ticket. And I know my face is kind of blurring out the answer there, but that's the only thing that makes sense with this cause. So the car ran a red light, and the effect was the driver got a ticket. So I want you to pause the video and take a few minutes to try and match the cause and, oh, hi Hank, say hi to the people. Okay, now get down. Take a second to write the cause, find the cause and match it with the effect. Write the letter of the effect on your line here, and then resume the video when you're ready to check your answers. Okay, if you're joining me now, it means that you're ready to check your answers. So here we go. Vinny stayed up late. That was the cause, and the effect was he was sleepy the next day. E. Number 3, the students were quiet in class, and the effect of that was F. The teacher asked if they were okay. Number 4, it rained. The effect was B. Mecca got wet as she walked to school. Number 5, Mariella skipped breakfast. The effect was she was hungry at lunch. Last, we have number 6. It was very hot outside. That was the cause, and the effect was Miss Weston turned on the AC. Hopefully this was helpful practice for you, and just a reminder, if you have any questions, you can contact me during my office hours. If you just look at the cover of your packet, you'll see there's a link you can go to or a number you can call in on different days of the week, and we can talk a little bit more about this. But now we're going to move on to our lesson 2 vocabulary. So remember that you're going to write the definition and draw an illustration of each word on your paper. So we'll start with our first word, which is campaign. A campaign is a planned series of actions that are designed to reach a certain goal. So for example, in 2012, during the presidential election, there were 2 campaigns going on. One was for President Obama and one was for Senator Romney. So you can see a campaign, they're trying to reach a desired goal, and their goal was to become president. Okay, so that's campaign. Pause and resume when you're ready for the next word. The next word is Emancipation Proclamation. We talked a little bit about this when we were studying Jackie Robinson, but just to refresh your memory, the Emancipation Proclamation was an order that was issued by President Lincoln in 1863 that freed all the slaves under Confederate authority. So remember, the Emancipation Proclamation did not free all slaves in the United States and the United States territories. It only freed slaves in the southern states. And this was because President Lincoln was trying to get those freed slaves to come to the North and to really disrupt all the plans that the Confederate States had during the Civil War. So, Emancipation Proclamation freed the slaves under Confederate authority. Go ahead and write down your definition and resume when you're ready for the next word. Our last word today is the 13th Amendment. This is different than the Emancipation Proclamation. Emancipation Proclamation only freed slaves in the southern states, while the 13th Amendment made all slavery in the United States illegal. And the 13th Amendment was passed after President Lincoln was elected for his second term. So go ahead and write down the definition of the 13th Amendment and resume the video when you are ready to hear the purpose for reading today. Our purpose for reading today is to understand the causes and effects of the Civil War. You're going to read pages 8 through 12, and it's your choice if you'd like to read that on your own or if you'd like to listen to the audio. Just like you did yesterday, if you'd like to listen to Miss Ngali read the book aloud, which I highly recommend, she's a wonderful reader, you'll pause this video and go to the next video in the playlist. And once you're done listening, you can come back to this video so that you can hear your directions for the rest of your tasks. So go ahead and your choice, reading pages 8 through 12. Remember to mark the text, underline important sentences, important details, circle words that you think are important or words that you don't know. Try to define them on your own. And after each paragraph, just do a double check for yourself. Do I understand what I just read? Can I retell that to someone? Do I know what the main idea was? So pay close attention while you're reading and join me back here at this video when you are ready to move on. Enjoy your reading. All right, if you are here with me, that means that you finished reading pages 8 through 12 and you have worked on figuring out the main idea, the important details of what you read, and you're ready to begin your comprehension activity. So what we're going to do today is go through and identify the cause or effect using your book. And actually, I decided to give you all of the causes. So you're just going to go back and look at the effect. So I gave you one for an example, which can be found on page 7. So on page 7, the text says, Abraham Lincoln was elected president of the United States. Remember, the cause is why something happened. Okay, so President Lincoln was elected president of the United States. So the South was afraid that ending slavery would destroy their economy and way of life, and they seceded. They left the Union. So when we're looking at cause and effect, just know that I give you a hint for what page you can go back and reread to for both the cause and the effect, and you're focusing on the cause, which is what happened, why something happened, and the effect is the what. So you're going to be focusing on effect today, looking at what happened. So the first one you're doing on your own says, Abraham Lincoln passed the Emancipation Proclamation in 1862. That is why something happened. You can see that on page 8. So go back to page 8 and figure out what was the effect. So because Abraham Lincoln passed the Emancipation Proclamation in 1862, this happened. Pause the video and resume when you're ready for number 2. Number 2, Abraham Lincoln was reelected as president to serve a second term. You can find that information on page 10. What was the effect of Abraham Lincoln being reelected for a second term? You can find the effect on page 10 as well. Pause the video and go back to reread. Resume when you are ready. Number 3, General Sherman led his army through the South in 1864. You can find that information on page 10. What was the effect of Sherman's march to the sea? You can find that on pages 10 and 11. Pause the video to reread and resume when you are ready. The next part of the video will be to check your answers, so make sure that you don't move on until you have found your answers in the text and given it your best try. Even if it's challenging and you're not quite sure, I want you to give it your best effort before you check your answers, and you're being honest, and I trust you to be honest. Okay, if you are joining me, it's because you are ready to check your answers, so here we go. Cause: Abraham Lincoln passed the Emancipation Proclamation in 1862. Effect: slaves living in the Confederate States were freed, and that was on page 8. Number 2, Abraham Lincoln was re-elected as president to serve a second term. That was the cause. The effect was President Lincoln passed the 13th Amendment ending slavery in the United States. Because he was president and still had the power of a president, he was able to introduce the 13th Amendment to officially end slavery. Number 3, General Sherman led his army through the South in 1864. Because he led his army through the South, the effect was many buildings, homes, and bridges and railroads were destroyed in the South. So those are the answers for your 3 independent practice problems, identifying the effect of some of the events in the Civil War. And again, if you have any questions about this, remember you can contact me through my office hours, Class Dojo, email, Google Classroom, whatever works best for you and your family, okay? All right, so the last thing you're going to do for today's lesson is your exit ticket. You're going to choose at least one of these 3 options for your exit ticket today. Your first choice is to post in Google Classroom. You can add a class comment to this assignment and share one thing that you learned today or a question that you still have from the reading. Your second choice is to go back to your KWL chart from yesterday and write down something that you have learned or a question that you still have. Your third choice is to create a timeline about what you know about the Civil War so far. You can see below on your packet, I created a line for you. So you can go back through the text and create a timeline like we've done in class, have your starting date here, write the date, and then write the important event that happened. And you can do that for what we've read so far, pages 4 through 13. That's all I have for you guys today. I'm very excited for us to finish up reading this book and getting started with the Watsons Go to Birmingham. We have one more lesson about the Civil War, and then we will begin the Watsons Go to Birmingham. So stay safe, take care of yourself, and remember all the ways you can reach me if you have questions: Class Dojo, Google Classroom, office hours, phone call, anything you need. Just let me know because I'm here for you, and I want to make sure that you understand the work that you have and that you get to share all of your hard work with me when you're finished. So have a great day, and I'll see you for video 3, lesson